Well, I'm hoping you can give us some clarity here on what's going on with the economy. Your Bank of America economists say no rate hikes this year and no recession. Is that still the case after Friday's jobs report?
Yeah, it's still the case. And that's a less growth than they would have had 6, 9 months ago and reflects the impact of the tariff war and the trade and all that. But they still think we continues to grow. We're growing at a slow rate, say 1.5% this year, a little more next year, and a little more the year after that. But it'll take inflation for the Fed to get inflation out of the system really through the end of 26 into 27 down to the 2% level. And that's why they have the Fed holding. What they believe is sort of in the middle of next year, the Fed will start cutting and bring the Fed funds rate closer to what would be a more normal rate around 3%, 3.5%.
So even though we saw this really kind of astounding dissent by two members of the Fed saying we do need to move on interest rates, your prediction from your economists is that that's not appropriate at this time.
They don't think they're going to move. Now, the market says they're going to move in September, maybe twice this year. The market was at 7 times 1 point this year. Now they're down to 2. Then they're down to 1. Now they're up to 2. This is going to move around. But the reality is two things people should really keep in focus. One is until the inflation is out of the system, the Fed's going to be very careful, and that's what they said. And then secondly, the rate we're going to go to is a rate that is more normal than pre-global financial crisis, more of a 3%, 3.5% rate, which actually means the American economy is probably functioning better, frankly.
So on that point, the Wall Street Journal, when we were reading in, puts the tariff tax increase as costing $360 billion a year. That's one of the largest tax increases in history, they say. Do you believe the administration's arguments that it's really only foreigners who are going to pay the cost of this? Do you think economists are overstating the negative impact?
Well, I think no one really knows, honestly, because this is a different regime than we've been in before. And so they're trying to extrapolate from things from 50 years ago when the economies are different structured. Our team thinks it has an impact on inflation of about 30, 40 basis points.
Meaning adding to prices people are paying.
Yeah, adding to the inflation rate in the United States. But we need to back up. What the real impact right now is the new Trump administration coming in had 4 or 5 policy areas they were really going to go after. Having learned in the 4 years they had to move very quickly. Those were around trade and tariff and immigration and taxation and deregulation. What businesses, and I just was in the Midwest with a bunch of businesses, are all trying to do is figure out what the answer will be so they can go ahead and make their plans for 26. So the activity that's slowed down has more to do with people just trying to figure out the answer. And it doesn't mean every answer is acceptable, but most answers are. So what they have answers on? Obviously a tax bill getting done. That's a good answer for business because it makes the rates permanent. What's the second thing they have an answer on? They have an answer now on the range of trade possibilities. And so as they think about the trade possibilities, they sit there and say, tariffs might not be worse than X. They see some deals getting done, all of which is good work. What they don't have an answer on is deregulation. Yes, the new regulation has stopped, but they're hoping for more deregulation so that will help their business models going forward. And then the last is immigration. What will immigration really settle in like? And that's what they tell us. So they're not using their lines of credit. The indications from them are they're being a little more cautious, really waiting for some answers.
Businesses aren't hiring either, we saw in this jobs data on Friday.